Hello and welcome to episode 526 of Fergo and the Freak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP, and join me as always is the glorious LeagueFreak. You can also find on Twitter at LeagueFreak. How you going there, mate?
I'm going very well, Andrew, considering that New South Wales just got absolutely pumped in Origin 1. How are you doing?
Yeah, look, I'm going to put it this way. Mm-hmm. A mate of mine sent me a text message after the incident that completely fucked this game for New South Wales.
Yeah. And
he said, do you think Joseph Suaalii should get 10 weeks? And I said, no, mate, he's gone to rugby union. That's enough punishment.
That's a good fucking reply.
But I'd let him go now. I'd cancel all his contracts and just let him go now to union. Because he's obviously a rugby union plant sent to try and ruin State of Origin.
I tell you what, rugby union would love to get out of his contract, I would suggest, with how much they're going to pay him. And they don't have the money. They just don't have the money.
No.
So
maybe that's why they wound up to the Melbourne Rebels.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. No one else did either because no one gave a shit.
Exactly.
But with this game, it was a very clear send-off. It was direct contact to the head. Reece Walsh was out with his arms in the air. His body was stiffened.
Well, the other thing too, mate, you have a look at the replay and there's very little to no effort made by Suaalii to wrap the arms around either. So it's pretty much he's just leading with the shoulder.
Yeah, and his shoulder hit right on the chin. There was no chest for it. There was none of Walsh's chest or shoulder or anything. It was just straight in the head. Walsh was straight out. As soon as it happened, the game kept on going, and I was like, this is going to be send off. It was just a straight up black and white decision. It wasn't controversial or anything. And
no, that's right. And that's the thing. I very much agree with you. And the thing is, and there were some people out there, probably just New South Wales dyed in the wool fans, fair enough, saying, but Walsh was falling. And I said, yes, but that's still a send-off. You can't hit someone in the head, whether they're falling or not, accident or not. And look, that's an accident. We'll let it slide. Then every person who goes to the judiciary will just say, it was an accident. I'll have to let it off.
He wasn't going into that tackle thinking, I'm going to blast him right in the head.
Exactly right.
The vast majority of these hits are accidents, but it doesn't mean that he didn't blast him in the head and that he didn't deserve to be sent off. Reece Walsh didn't play part in the rest of the game. Queensland went down a rotate. Well, you get the 18th man now, but the 18th man had to be used, and it just wasn't. There was nothing controversial about it. That's a send off at any level of the game. Any game whatsoever, if it was the grand final, whatever. It's the same rules. That's it. And what you were talking about how you did a tweet that went off.
I was going to say to you, it's an interesting point you've got there because the commentators for Channel 9 were basically saying it's a shame that he got sent off. At club level, absolutely it's a send off, but at this level, I was like, hang on. Do they have completely different rules? And I had a few people come along saying they are different rules. I said, no, they're not different rules. What's different is the leniency that the referees adhere the rules or apply the rules, in Origin. And that shouldn't happen either. In my view, because we're playing a more elite level of football on a bigger stage with more eyeballs on it, the penalties and the punishments should be harsher to ensure that we have a cleaner, a more professional game at this level. The further and further as we go up. So I have no issue with that being a send-off. 100% agree. It was a clear-cut send-off for me. And yeah, if it had happened the other way, if someone had hit a New South Wales player, exactly the same tackle, those people who were saying that shouldn't have been a send-off would have been crying foul that the Queenslander wasn't sent off. And we all know that's fact.
Yeah, 100%. It was just black and white. And I just didn't think it was even a question. And, Suaalii, hopefully he's got some people around him that really look after him because he's only a young bloke still. And, there was a little bit written about him coming into this game. And for it to end like that is pretty full on. So hopefully he's got, people around him that sort of keep him all right, because there's going to be a lot said about that hit. And hopefully Reece Walsh is all right. Like, he got absolutely blasted.
I'll be honest, I'm far more concerned about Reece Walsh and his welfare because, that hit was rough.
Terrible.
And let's be honest, he did get hit late, just prior to that as well.
I missed that. I missed the late hit.
It wasn't as bad, but it was late.
Okay.
So, given he's struggled a bit with injury so far this year, I do hope that he makes a full recovery and he's available pretty soon, and there's no major impacts from that tackle on him. He did get ruled out with a severe concussion straight away, which I just think you shouldn't have gradings for these. If you take a hit to the head like that, you should just sit the rest of the game out and sit a week out. Minimum is what you should be doing.
Yeah, look, he'll have to stand down for 10 days, so that will kick in. And keep in mind, he had a broken face earlier this year. Comes back from that, has a few rounds, and then cops hit like this, and it's lucky that he didn't have any structural problems, but obviously a brain injury is a really big problem. So, hopefully they look after him and get him all the scans they need, and they give him time to recover from just absolutely brutal hit. And just a pure send off, and straight away, like, we're 6 minutes into the match and the game's pretty much over at that point. But the first thing I thought was that we're still going to learn a lot about a number of the New South Wales players, because now they're under the pump for 74 minutes. And I think we did learn some very important lessons about a few of their players.
Can I start with one?
Yes.
James Tedesco.
Yes.
His running game, he's still always on point. But, man, when he had the ball in his hand, it felt like everything was in slow motion.
Yeah.
And some of the decisions he made of, tapping the ball on pass, stuff like that, a lot of those were not great. And he was Paul Gallinan a bit too much, just constantly getting the ball when he shouldn't have been there. And look, it's tricky in this situation because you're down a man, but I think he got in the way a bit too much.
Yeah.
So every time we saw Nicho Hynes get the ball and he was looking, you could see he was actively looking for a link man to get the ball to Luai or to link directly with Luai. Tedesco was in the middle there and should have been that link man, but instead he took the ball and either ran, which I didn't mind so much because his running game was still pretty decent. But when he tried to pass the ball or drift sideways or try and create something, it more often than not went bad.
Yeah.
Not poorly, it just went bad.
Really bad, yeah.
And that's why Dylan Edwards was a really good idea, because he doesn't inject himself into the attack that frequently. He allows the attack to play, and he plays a role as a support runner remarkably well. And that's what he'd been doing really well. And it's what New South Wales needed here. Even with a man down, they still needed a support running fullback, not a bloke who thinks he's another six.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, I think we saw tonight why the switch was made. It just looked like he's missing a couple of steps now, which means he's not as dangerous when he has the ball in his hand. And that means that, the defensive line is a lot more under control in front of him. And instead of being able to accelerate through and maybe get somebody on the outside and threaten the pass and maybe do a short pass, that's not opening up for him. So,
and I think part of that, though, is you're watching him run, and his first one or two steps, he looks like lower to the ground than normal. It's like he's trying to change direction to try and get the defenders wrong-footed, when I think the best thing he can do right now for his own game is to get rid of the sideways running and go back to running straight, because he's still very, very strong leg drive.
Yeah.
And if he just went back to running straight, he'd probably bust through the line a few times. You know, like we saw with Anthony Minicello later in his career, he got rid of the sideways running and went straight, and he was just really tough to stop.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, you're right about him getting in the way of the attack. And Nadine texted me this evening during the match and said he's acting like a handbrake. And he really was. He was messing up the attack. And some of those bad on passes that he was doing absolutely killed New South Wales when they needed the possession. It absolutely killed them. So, it was unfortunate. If Edwards is available for the second game, and I don't think he will be, he might not be available for the rest of the series. But if he is available, you have to go back to him. If not, I think Tedesco will probably still hold on to the place, but he didn't play well in this game. And it's he's played great for so long. He's just getting old. It gets everyone. So, I don't want to bag the hell out of him because his time had come to move on and he got dragged back in. It's not his fault. So, yeah.
No, I fully agree. He has been a phenomenal player for quite a long time, not just a flash in the pan guy. He just needs to change his game in order to keep playing at a very high level. But his time in Origin football, at least, is over. Yeah. And if Dylan Edwards isn't available for the next Origin, we know Tedesco will be picked. But I'd rather have someone that was, as I said in the last episode, someone more of the Dylan Edwards style of play. And I think the best player we've got available with good enough form is Will Kennedy from the Sharks. Just has that very similar game plan, very safe, very consistent with what he does. And his style of play would suit more of what Maguire was looking for out of Edwards. And he wouldn't get in the way all the time of the attack. He's got that similar style to what Edwards has, very good support runner, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against that. I just think, it's just, man, it sucks when you see a player that has done so much and that at times was like the most dangerous player on the field, win, lose or draw, and you get to a game like that and you're like, oh man, it's not there. They're not scared of him, No,
that's right.
The thing.
The aura has gone.
Yeah, they're not scared of him at all, and that's a problem. Can I bring up someone?
Yes.
Nico Hines. He plays pretty well for the Cronulla Sharks. He's a very solid player for the Cronulla Sharks. This is beyond him. He's not a rep player, at least not at this point of his career. You've got to take control, and he didn't do that in this game. There were a couple of moments where he panicked. His kicking game was so-so. And, he was targeted terribly in defence. And it's just, this is a level above, I think, his ability. And that's fine. Like, there's a lot of very good players in the NRL that State of Origin is probably a little bit beyond. And I think he is one of those players. I thought he didn't play well in this game. He might down the track develop into a State of Origin level player, but I don't think it's the case right now. And it sucked to see it.
Look, and this is going to sound like I'm defending him. I am going to agree with you on this one, okay?
You're what?
I'm going to agree with you on this one.
Okay.
But I will say that he has not yet had one Origin game where he's been able to play in his one set position the whole way through. So in this game, while he actually got to play halfback in attack, in defence, he got shifted to centre at one stage.
Yeah.
Then onto the wing. And I'm thinking, why are we moving him around? And furthermore, when you're down a man, the man you're missing is on the edge. Why would you put a poor defender on the edge? Like, bury him in the middle somewhere so you've got a bunch of forwards to protect him a little bit. They should have been parking him in the middle next to Cameron McInnes and then Yo. Two genuinely decent enough defenders. And he could just help effect those tackles. And so it makes it harder for him to get picked out. And then you can put better defenders like Crichton, as they did later in the match, out wider where he can be much more useful. And that's the thing that I didn't like about this. It was a dumb move to put him out defending on the edge because he was just going to get targeted, and sure enough, he did. Several times on that edge there. They just kept running on him and moving him.
Yeah. Selwyn Cobbo was licking his lips. He was just like, oh, my God, are they doing this for me?
And so I was just looking at going, why are you putting him there? Look, we know he's not a good defender. Why are you putting him there? And that's the thing. He's not poor because he's shit. He's busting his ass to try and do the absolute best he can. They all are. But he doesn't have the technique that you need to be defending at centre, which is you need to be able to make one-on-one tackles and be able to do them while standing upright. And
he's too small he's a slight dude.
That's right. He's like most smaller halves, where their idea of the only way they can be an effective defender is stick to a tackle. Mm. That's it. Like, don't get bumped off. Speaking of getting bumped off, that bump that Cobbo did on Lomax.
Oh.
Just threw him out of the way, and I went, oh, my God.
Look, Lomax, there were moments where it was like, I don't know about this, and then other moments where it was like, oh, he's going okay.
Look, I can't criticize him too much. There's just he was basically defending the whole game. And you can't really comment too much on a winger when that's what they're doing all game. But it wasn't great.
So the other thing about Nico Hines, it just in attack, there was a set late in the game where New South Wales were attacking the line, and Luai ran to the line. There was nothing there. He put it back into Nico Hines. Nico Hines stopped and panicked and threw it to, I think, Hudson Young. And Hudson Young, I think it was, had to put the kick in.
Well, we think back to comments I made probably a year ago. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the Sharks and how the problem they have is when they start chasing points. Mm-hmm. They panic. Mm-hmm. And that was a large reason why they struggled against stronger teams. Mm-hmm. This is last year. And a lot of that did come through Hines. It was panic. So we've got to score points and we've got to do it now. So watching the 2006 West Tigers, but they had success doing it once and they thought we can do it all the time. And you go, no. Sometimes you just get a run where the ball just bounces your way.
I think in this game, one of the things that stood out to me, keep in mind I'm looking at it as a Panthers fan who studies Panthers games. I study all football games that I watch, but in particular I study Panthers games, right? And going into this match, I did say I would pick as many Panthers and former Panthers as possible. And I'm watching this game, and for the most part, I think that the Panthers players in the side played really pretty damn well for the most part. And I was watching this game thinking, man, there's a difference between these players that have played in a lot of very big games and have got the job done, and then some of these other guys that are question marks. And I think there's too many question marks still in the team, and there doesn't have to be. We know we've got players that we can select that do win big games. And, I just think that was the big takeaway I got from this one. Just very disappointing. Jake Trbojevic, I tell you what, he started off looking like he was level. Off the pace, slow. Then he got replaced pretty early on, and you didn't see him again until like the last 3 minutes. So I don't know what was going on there, but he was made captain of the team.
Yeah.
And look, I picked him in my Origin team. I could not pick him for the rest of the series. No way. Just so far off the pace.
I was okay with him being picked in the team, but he's not been the elite level player he used to be for a few years now.
What I wanted from him was just a solid, no frills forward display. But it was just super clear early on that it was like, oh, this level of football is so far beyond him now. And it's fine. He still plays pretty well for the Manly Sea Eagles, but yeah, I couldn't pick him again. I think it's over for him at this level, and they made him captain.
Yeah. I mean, who do you give the captaincy to out of the players that are on the field today? And knowing that we wouldn't want to have Tedesco playing again. Who becomes captain? It should be Yo, but they've got him on the bench.
Yeah, and look, he come on and straight away was doing Isaiah Yo stuff. I know he threw that intercept late in the game.
But I mean, you have to push things a little bit at the end if you want to score points and you're down by 20.
Yeah.
But I would struggle a lot more than he did. He actually held his own all right. I wasn't too disappointed in what he did.
He didn't do much though, did he?
No, but I mean that's the thing. He did basically the same thing he does at NRL level.
Yeah. Like none of the Queenslanders are sitting in the sheds right now drinking 4X going, man, that Cam McGuinness, whew, don't want to run at him again.
Tell you what, at least two of them are saying that about Liam Martin, though.
Oh, man, Liam Martin. Look, he had a bit of a mixed game, right?
He did. There was...
Once again, he's one of those dudes, and one of his best games ever was the World Cup final, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He is a big game player, and I thought that might have turned the game, but then we screwed up off the next set that we basically had from that. So
the first big hit was on Xavier Coates? It was when he took a catch, and he leapt to take that tackle so much earlier than normal. It reminded me of Bill Goldberg in WCW days doing a spear. I was like, fucking hell, he's launched that from a way back. And timed it perfectly.
Who else? Rhino and Edge. They were the other ones that did the spear.
Those are the other ones.
We're aging ourselves.
Yeah. And then he did another one in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot who that was on, but that was another absolute bell ringer of a tackle. And then, what was it, about a set or two later, he completely has an air swing on slow old Ben Hunt.
Yeah.
And just lets Hunt slide through. And I went, man, how do you pull off two epic fucking hits like that and then just completely miss that one? Like, Ben Hunt was just going for a stroll at the line looking to get a quick play the ball or something. Then all of a sudden, like, Liam Martin's just gone flying along in the background. You go, what was he doing?
He's an interesting player. If in an ideal world, you would say to Liam Martin, like, just chill. Go kill someone. Just chill. Go kill someone. Because when he's a solid player who all of a sudden will just change a game, you know, with a big hit or a big run. He's got the ability to put on a big run too. And but he had a mixed bag of a game, but you did see his ability to go to another level. And I think we need more players that can go to the next level. Stephen Crichton was outstanding tonight. Absolutely outstanding.
Phenomenal.
Outstanding. Got heaps of work. Defensively was fantastic.
And he had one of those no frills games where he just had to do one of those real tradesman matches and be another forward for most of the time. Like, he wasn't out there being flashy.
Yep.
He was doing dirty work, you know, in the middle an awful lot just to try and get the Blues on the front foot. Give as many of his forwards a break as much as possible so that they could stay as fresh as possible, given that they had, you know, less rotations and stuff because of being down a man. Unbelievable performance from him.
Jerome Luai, very, very good. I think if he had a better halves partner, it would have been handy. But he looked really, really dangerous every time he got the ball. And if nothing was there, he would find something, which was really interesting. And that's I guess that's the next level for his game when, you know, he's looking for something and it's not there, that he doesn't just get caught with the ball or anything. He moves it on and finds something. So I thought he was great. Robson was solid. I thought that Payne Haas was very good in the first half. He was ripping in. Second half, he was a bit quiet, but the forwards started to get tired in the second half, and that, you know, obviously.
I wasn't too impressed with Payne Haas, to be honest. He didn't even make 100 metres for the match.
Really? See, in the first half, he was tearing through them, and I was like, holy shit. But then, you know, in the second half, I don't think any of the forwards really did a great deal in the second half.
Angus Crichton was pretty good. I'll give him credit, man. He wasn't too bad.
I thought he was quiet, hey?
He made the most meters of the Blues forwards.
How many did he get?
168.
See, that's pretty good, eh?
Second best was Yo with 129, and then Leniu with 108.
Leniu was outstanding off the bench.
He was. He had such a big impact in not a huge amount of time on the field either.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Hudson Young has just. I'm not getting him, man.
Yeah, he's crap. He's like.
Well, I'm not even sure what his role was though, or I'm not even sure if he knew what his role was. Ola Kawatu was barely used as well.
Yeah, Ola Kawatu was actually really poor. He was really poor in this game. But yeah, Hudson Young is just. I mean, I think he's an average first grader. I don't understand the thing about them selecting him. Ola Kawatu, I was very disappointed in him. They really needed him to stand up.
Yeah, it was a very quiet. Yeah, Jake Trebojevic didn't even play half an hour.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
So it's absolutely nuts how dominant the Queensland forwards were over the New South Wales ones, considering that that's not a pushover pack that New South Wales had. You know, Haas, Crichton, Trebojevic, Yo, Ola Kawatu, Leniu, they should be pretty bloody powerful. And I'll say this too, Reece Robson I thought did play very well.
Yeah, he was solid, yeah.
But I think if you're going to have Tedesco in the side and you want to limit him to just being, playing his strength, which is running, you need to get someone like Corus out hooker. Just someone who's a lot more creative and who can, when they become that link person, they know whether they need to run or pass or what play to do, whereas Tedesco thinks he just has to do it all. And when he gets to a dead end, it's like, okay, pass. And everyone's flat-footed and it's like, well, now we're all fucked and under pressure.
Yeah, well, look, Robson doesn't give you a huge amount in attack at a dummy half, and that's all right. Like, he is the player he is.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking for someone defensively, I don't know that he'd be at the top of my list defensively. Coruscant just needs to be selected. He just does. It's just really straightforward. I couldn't believe he was left out, but they left him out for some reason. I'm not really sure what it was. Can we talk a little bit about Queensland now? Because we've hammered the Blues. Look, I thought that DCE, just a DCE game, just guided them around the field. I rated him 8.
No, I declared him man of the match.
Yeah, man of the match, definitely. But it wasn't like he was tearing them apart. He was just really solid, did the job.
It was one of those Cameron Smith controlling performances.
Yes.
It's not on a highlights reel,
yes,
but he just had everything in control.
Yeah, 100%. That's a really good way to put it. I thought he was very good. Who else was good? Xavier Coates, I thought he was pretty handy.
Oh, he was very good.
Tabadai Fidau, when he went to fullback, they just didn't miss anything when he went back there.
No.
I thought Tom Dearden was a bit quiet. He was really quiet in the first half. Can you imagine if Ezra Mam was in that team tonight? Oh my God. I hope that they don't think about that, because that'd be a nightmare. Ben Hunt, another one of those guys, just a really, really good performance. Just one of these professional Queensland players, they just are fantastic like that. Pat Carrigan, another one, just really, really solid game.
Lindsay Collins, man.
Yeah, Lindsay Collins and what's his name, the other front rower?
Jaden Sewer?
No.
No, actually, I didn't.
Ruben Cotter.
Ruben Cotter, yeah.
Yeah, they, especially in the second half, they started punching holes when Queensland, when New South Wales were getting tired, and it was but they had a really good platform in the first half. But yeah, in that second half, they come back on, and it was just they basically, started steamrolling it, and they were both very good.
Sewer, though, was very good on the edge too. He was part of a few little plays on that left edge when they started targeting Nicho Hynes in the first half when he moved out to defending wider.
He was
Sue was running at the gap that was inside Hynes to try and drag Hynes in field, which just worked 2 or 3 times in a row.
Yeah. I expected a little bit more from him, and so I felt like he was a little bit quiet. I think he'll be better in the rest of the series, but yeah, I kind of expected a bit more from him. But then, you got to keep in mind, they know straight away that New South Wales is down a player, and they don't have to take too many risks. They just need to play some solid footy, get through their sets, and that probably tempered some of their standout performances, I guess, because it was a fantastic team performance,
Yeah.
So I think that's maybe what, because when I'm rating the players, I'm looking at them as individuals, and so I think that I think that's what I'm kind of seeing in some of the players for Queensland, where I'm like, oh, he was a bit quiet. But in the grand scheme of things, they did exactly the job they had to do when the game changed after 6 minutes.
They were defensively very, very solid.
Mm-hmm.
They stuck to their systems pretty well. They didn't give New South Wales too much easy meterage either. Even when the Blues came out of that second half and they were firing for the best part of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They didn't give them cheap yardage. They made them work hard for all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that we saw from both teams, really good discipline too. Like, you didn't see too many penalties given away. We did see a bunch of set restarts, but a lot of them were like 2 or 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Which kind of doesn't mean much. So yeah, it was a pretty disciplined game all up. There wasn't a lot of utterly atrocious stuff that went on other than Suali's tackle. Even from the Blues, who didn't play that well, they didn't play like dog shit atrocious.
No, there was when I did my player ratings, obviously 2 players got 0. Like Reece Walsh didn't get a chance to really start the game. Suali, you leave a player, you leave your team down a player for 74 minutes, you get a 0. I think the only one that really got me was Jake Trebojevic. He wasn't good at all.
Yeah.
And then Tedesco was pretty lowly rated. And then Nicho Hynes, I thought, for the most part, pretty much everyone else in the game was solid to very, very good. No, I don't think anybody went to some ridiculous level. I had no 9s or 10s in my ratings. And I thought that was kind of showed what the game was about.
No, I fully agree with that. Shall we go through your ratings, or are you going to leave them exclusively for your paywalled website?
It's paywalled? It's not paywalled. What are you talking about?
In order to see my ratings, you need to subscribe.
I don't do stuff, but yeah, I'm not putting them on here. Fuck all of you. No, of course I'm going to do them. Okay, so let's start with the winners. Queensland. So Reece Walsh, 0. He got knocked out in 6 minutes. What am I going to do? Give him a point for participation? Poor guy.
How about half a point?
Half a point. Xavier Coates, 8. The ball didn't really come out to him very much. It didn't go out to either of the wingers for Queensland very much, but he was really looking for the ball a lot, which I thought was pretty good. Valentine Holmes, he come home with a bit of a wet sail, so I gave him a 7. Hammer.
I thought he played pretty safe. He didn't do anything stupid. Like, sometimes you get that run of games with him where he does 1 or 2 dumb things in a row, but we didn't have any of that today. So yeah 7's fair.
Yeah, so there was a lot of performances like that, because they didn't have to do much. The Hammer I gave 8 because he moved into fullback, was just great at fullback, and he's such a good player. I love watching him play. Tulagi, I gave him 6. He was shut down a lot defensively, and the ball didn't really come out to him once again. I would have liked to have seen him get through a bit more work, though, go on field to look for work like To'o does.
Yeah.
Tom Dearden, I gave him a 6. And by the way, 6 is because I've got my ratings are pretty they're pretty full on. So 5 is below average, 6 is a pass mark. So 6 is good. 7 is above average.
So these are ratings out of 9 then?
No, they're at a 10. If you have a 10 game, you've done a Wally Lewis, Andrew Johns, those sorts of games, right?
Yep.
So where are we up to? Tommy did, and I did. What did you say?
Luke Brooks.
Luke Brooks, how dare you? Oh, shit. Cherry Evans, 8. I gave him an 8. Cotter, I gave a 7. Ben Hunt, I gave an 8. I thought that he was very good early on. He had a big spell in the middle, and then towards the end of the game, he started being a bit of a nightmare for New South Wales. Lindsay Collins, 7. Sewer, I gave a 6. Once again, solid. You know, we talked about him before. Jeremiah Nanai, I gave him a 6 as well for a similar reason. They didn't really have to use those players the way that I would have expected them to. They just sort of got through their work.
Yep.
Harry Grant Pat Carrigan an 8. I think that you could put him down for an 8 in every game he ever plays. He's such a good player. Harry Grant, I gave him a 7. I thought he was a bit off early on, but then he really warmed into it and started going, and he was a problem. Fodawaker a 6. They didn't use him too much, but he was solid. Hopgood was pretty good. I gave him a 7. And Selwyn Cobbo, I gave him a 7 because there were a couple of times where he did things that I was like, oh, man, if only he'd done this. But then he did have some very good moments too. So it kind of averaged out to where he got a 7. And Felice Kafusi, who come on for Walsh, he was activated as the 18th man. I gave him a 6 because he was solid. You know, he did the job.
I would have given him a 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't have argued with you if you gave him a 5.
28 minutes, mate.
Yeah.
3 runs for 23 metres.
How many tackles, though?
Where is that one? Not a great website, this. Checking this out. Where is it? No tackle breaks. Where's the tackles? There it is. Tackles made, 13.
I just thought he was solid for the job that he was. Like, he was the fucking 18th man, you know?
Yeah, he wasn't really busy.
Yeah. Okay, New South Wales player ratings.
Yep.
Why is it so much? It's so much more fun to dig into the New South Wales team. What do you reckon that is?
I've got this theory, and it's largely because you tend to be more focused on the team that you're supporting.
Mm-hmm.
And so because you're more focused on it, the good and the bad things that they do just seem to stick out a bit more.
Okay.
That's what I put it down to.
I feel like even when we've had a winning team, though, it's been I don't know, it's been more of a recreational event to dig into them, you know.
Okay. Well, if we don't win 80-0, what the fuck are we doing?
Exactly. You know, we need a new halfback.
That's right.
bring in Kamali. Johns can't play halfback. Okay.
Right.
I gave Tedesco a 5, and that was pretty generous, I thought.
Yeah.
To'o, 8. He's kind of like Pat Carrigan. Like, just put him down for an 8 in every game he plays. Stephen Crichton, I gave him an 8. Like,
yep.
Defensive, like, juggernaut. I was actually watching him thinking, it's crazy that it's taken so long for New South Wales to be like, oh, yeah, let's keep picking Stephen Crichton. Suwali, 0.
-1.
Off the Union. Fucking
-1.
Yeah. Look, I actually thought, like, it probably warranted a -1. Like, he left them fucked.
It completely changed whatever they were going to do with their game plan. Their defensive structures and their attacking plays all got completely destroyed.
Yeah. Zach Lomax, I gave 7. I thought he was, pretty good. He actually did better than I expected, Zach Lomax.
Man, he ran for 212 metres. Only Tuo ran for more in the whole game.
There you go. What did Tuo get?
223.
He's such a monster. My goodness.
The crazy thing is, Lomax had more post-contact meters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's interesting. Nine more, 96 to 87.
Yeah, far out. Tuo gets a lot of, if they marked, actual hit-ups, he'd actually have, a dozen hit-ups in a game.
Oh, easy.
Jerome Luai, 7. I thought he played really well.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Hines, 4. Go back to Cronulla. Payne Haas, I gave him an 8. I thought
I probably would give him 6, to be honest. I thought he was too quiet.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Reece Robson, I gave him a 7. I thought he was pretty good defensively. Yep. He got the job done. Yep. He didn't fuck it up.
No, I agree.
Jake Trbojevic, I gave him a 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I thought, that was probably generous.
I was going to say maybe even 2.
Angus Crichton, it's funny that I gave all of the back rowers in both teams the same score. So Angus Crichton, I gave him a 6.
I'd have given Angus a 7.
Okay. I gave Liam Martin a 6, and that kind of, I think I actually wrote, I wrote it's a mixed bag. He had some big moments, but others let him down. So it sort of evened out at a 6. I'm
fine with that.
Cam McGuinness, I gave him a 5. I thought early on he was okay, but then the rest of the game was like, where's Wally? Isaiah Yeo, I gave him a 6. I was thinking about giving him a little bit of a higher score, but that intercept at the end of the game, and look, as you say, they had to try something, but it still hurt too much to give him a higher score than a 6. He needs to start in the next game. Ola Kawatu, I gave a 4. Once again, really disappointing. Yep. Spencer Leniu, I gave an 8. He was fantastic off the bench, exactly. Played above expectation, just perfect off the bench. Did great. And Hudson Young, I gave him a very, very, very generous 5.
5?
Right. Yeah, it didn't have much of an impact at all.
I'd have probably gone with 3 or 4.
Yeah, that would be fair enough. And obviously, Burton didn't get activated. So, yeah. Oh, man, it sucks. It seemed odd, though,
because there was talk during the day or two leading up to the match that if need be, Hudson Young would be moved to cover centre.
Yeah.
And I thought, why would you do that when you've got a bloke as 18th man who can play centre and regularly does play centre, who could also be, he could cover fullback if need be, as well as play in the halves in Burton. Why not? No, these are the simple changes. You don't need to make wholesale changes, but I'd have Yo and McInnes swap. So Yo starts at lock. McInnes onto the bench so he can cover either hooker or lock. And Burton comes onto the bench for Young, right? You're not making any wholesale changes here, but you're making much better improvements to the team, and you're making the bench players have more utility value, so they can cover more losses.
Yeah,
just 2 players are covering key spine positions, but they can also play specialist roles.
Yeah,
like McInnes can play hooker and he can defend in the middle, comfortably enough. Whereas Burton can cover fullback and both halves roles as well as play at centre. So you've covered everything there, and then just put 2 bloody props on the bench.
I like the idea of bringing Mitch Kenny into the side and having that Panthers rotation. Hey, it worked really well with Coruscant and Mitch Kenny. And they basically cover a lot of what you're talking about. Kenny is such a big, good defender. You could chuck him in the back row, not a problem, if you had to, Yeah. Put him on early, get through the defensive work, bring on Coruscant, let Coruscant go crazy. Maybe bring on Edwards later on if you have to. That's why I would have chosen those 2 as my rotation, because they give you so many options. As you said last week, if you really need to, Coruscant can even play halfback. I just thought that rotation right there really, it covered so much. I don't know why you would go for it.
It looks like now, I dare say, Burton will come in to replace Suwali.
Do you think so? Because I would have Tungor come in straight away. I would have picked him in the first place.
Yeah, I think they'll put Burton there only because he should be able to push Tedesco out of that annoying role in attack. Burton would just naturally, he'll gravitate to being in that link role. And he can create, and he has a kicking game, which Tedesco doesn't really have. And so by doing that, he'll force Tedesco out wide or into that that roving role at the back where he just sweeps around. which would be much better suited to both Tedesco's game and the Blues attack. So I think that would work better. No criticism on Tungo at all. He'd be fine, but I think Burton would probably suit what's going on there a lot better. I just think that would be a better balance.
I get that.
I also think, unless Jake Trbojevic picked up an injury, and I didn't see anything that suggested he did, I think he should probably just say bye.
Yeah. Look, it was very clear very early on. It was kind of shocking.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, like it's over for him. It's like watching an old boxer where it's like, it's all right. And then it's just, oh, you're finished. It's like the Simpsons episode, where Krusty tells Bart, it's all right. You're just finished. It's kind of really shocking because at NRL level, he's still a pretty bloody handy player. And it just doesn't translate anymore to that role.
But I don't know who comes in, I guess. Like, do you just put Olakau'atu at prop, or do you promote Leniu to starting? I don't know if I'd want to put Leniu at starting. I think I like him off the bench.
Off the bench, yeah. Look, I think maybe we know Olakau'atu. We know what a good player he is. Like, he really is one of the best props in the game. I can't imagine. I think that if you start him, he's going to be way better in that role. So yeah, I'd start him in Haas and go with those two. I loved Leniu off the bench, like you said. But then who do you bring into the side as a prop? Well,
you need a bench prop, and you kind of want someone who's going to be pretty explosive in attack. Makes big meters.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure who you get for that.
What about your man for the West Tigers?
Clemmer?
No, not fucking Clemmer. Fucking Clemmer.
What did you say that one?
I tell you what, I would have taken Clemmer fucking tonight over Trbojevic and what he gave us. Jeez.
Well, that's true.
As long as it's not one of the Saifidi brothers, I'm happy.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm worrying that that will get put forward.
It will. 100% it will. They're going to go with Tedesco if Edwards isn't ready, and I'd be kind of shocked if Edwards was ready by Origin 2.
Was Mitch Barnett in the New South Wales squad?
He was in the squad, but he wasn't named as the 18th man. He was like they named 20 players.
I know he's mostly a lock, but he does make good meters. He might be a decent option to play as the bench middle forward.
Well, I think you've also got to get rid of Hudson Young.
Well, yes.
Yeah, you could swap him for Hudson Young without a question.
Yes. There's a few people to get rid of.
Well, that's a worrying thing. Like, all of a sudden you're switching your side up pretty heavily. I mean, you and me have said, I'd be shocked if Suwali was available. I think he'll get a number of weeks for that high tackle.
He will. He'll get enough weeks to make him miss Origin 2.
Yeah, so I think that we're going to have a new centre. I think Yo is going to start in the next game. I'd be shocked if Trbojevic was named in the side at all. And straight away, you're starting to make any more changes than that. And you're going to have to, because you're going to have to change your bench because of it. All of a sudden, you're making a lot of changes.
Yep.
And it's but then again, are these changes you have to make? And I feel like they are.
No, I do agree. And this thing, we're not making massive changes just because players had a not so great game. It's changes because players were out of their depth.
Yeah.
And the other one is because the bloke's going to be suspended. We don't want to be making wholesale changes all across the park. But you've got to get rid of the ones who out of the depth. If you don't look like you're up to speed, after this much football's been played, and this is the first Origin game of the series, if you're not up to speed there, you will not be up to speed for the other games.
Yeah.
It's just simple as that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a few little tweaks they've got to make there to the forward pack. That's pretty much it. And then just covering Sawali's suspension.
I feel like we're going to get to like 5 or 6 years down the track from here, and we're going to be on like somehow our 8th New South Wales coach in that time. And so I don't know which Channel 9 employee it will be, but it'll be someone. And they're going to pick, yeah, probably. They're going to pick all of these Panthers players, but by then they're all be like 31, 32 years old, and they're going to just absolutely crush it. And we're going to be like, why the fuck didn't they do this 6 years ago?
Yeah.
And we're going to just hate everything about life going forward from that day on.
Agree.
What do you reckon it's like for Queensland fans that are listening to this podcast right now? Do you reckon that they're just like, do you reckon that they're slow stroking it or what?
Absolutely. Listen to it going, yeah, tell me more. Tell me more.
I'm not having a breakdown. You are.
You crack it open, another 4X.
We suck. We fucking suck, man. Why can't we just start a series with a team that makes fucking sense, please? Can we just do that once?
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Can we just, like, I don't want to have a series after series where we start a series and we're like, this is a problem, this team, and then it's proven to be a problem, and then we're just chasing our tail for the rest of the series. Then we get to game 3 and it's a dead rubber, and then it's like, well, we got to fucking stay loyal.
Except for to the coach. Get a new coach. How many more series or how many game losses will it be before Trent Barrett becomes the Origin coach? That can't be far away.
Well, by the way, did you see the list of fucking coaches that Parramatta are supposed to be talking to? Like,
no.
It's a special one. It's a special one. And Trent Barrett's one of them. I kind of hope that they just keep killing it under Trent Barrett.
They just need 2 more wins in a row under him.
Yeah, it's not much.
He's locked in for 3 years.
Yeah. It's so funny because it's true. Yeah. Look, before 2030, I'm saying. Before 2030, for sure.
I tend to agree. I was wondering, because I haven't been following, as you know, I don't get to follow too much of what goes on in the rugby league rumour mill news and all the whinging that goes on in the media.
Mm-hmm.
But there tends to be the same whinging stories that pop up every year or two.
Yeah. And
I get the feeling this year we might have had the old Origin kills the NRL season. Did that one come up?
There was a little bit of that, yeah. There was a little bit of that.
I saw it come up a bit on Twitter when I just logged on by chance one day.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I'll just mock this a little bit. I said, why don't we go back to the series of 1911 where they just played 3 games in the space of 7 days?
Yeah.
It was great. All games were in Sydney. New South Wales won the first game 65-9, the second one 49-0, and the third one 32-8.
The good old days.
That's how we need to have it.
Yeah. There was a little bit of that. There was some of the things that come out were like they did a little bit of the Ray Warren stuff. So Ray Warren, they asked him about coming back to call a game, and he said, no, it's just scuttlebutt.
It was going to be his 100th game or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. And they were like, this is maybe, there was some idiot wrote, this is maybe why the State of Origin ratings are down. And all I could think of was like someone burst into the room saying, hey, everyone, there's a certain guy that's calling this game of footy. We should all watch it to hear him. Like, what type of fucking world do these people live in? They think that the media is the thing that people are interested in. It's so funny. I also think I saw Michael Maguire was asked about I'm pretty sure, of bringing Phil Gould into the New South Wales team. and I'm sure he was like, oh, yeah, we would be open to it, which is a way of saying fuck no.
No. No. That's a no.
And then it was funny on the Origin broadcast, which, by the way, Channel 9, can I just say, if I had to rate their Origin broadcast, they'd be behind fucking Jake Trbojevic. Like, actually, it was putrid.
I would actually suggest that Jake Trbojevic does all of the commentary for the next Origin game.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah, I'd be fine for that. That would be a massive improvement.
Andrew Johns didn't realise he had left the game until, like, he was coming back on in about the the fucking 77th minute or something. And, like, it's just so bad. Just really, really dated and bad and horrible coverage from Channel 9 once again. Andrew Johns is just off his face. On life, I mean. Like, not anything else.
No insinuations.
No, he's just, he's just sitting up there, like, just chilling out and shit. And
goofing off.
Yeah, goofing off. Looking at players' thighs and stuff. I heard Brad Fittler's voice once.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of weird that he was there, like, on the sideline, and it's like, man, you were the coach last year. This is kind of weird. The Queenslanders were obviously much more engaged, which is obvious.
Fittler was basically cucked.
He was. Well, he's a rooster. The roosters love getting cucked. And yeah, so they're coupled.
Former team get run around by somebody else.
And then they crossed to Billy Slater, and then they didn't do it with Maguire because Maguire's not a Channel 9 employee, so he obviously told them to go fuck themselves, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I'm down with that. That's the reason why Maguire should get picked again.
Yeah, I agree. I tell you one thing that was very different was the structure of the team under Maguire compared to Fittler. It was like a modern day rugby league attack, which was really nice to see.
Yeah, and it is hard to gauge how they went because of, playing with 12 men for 72 minutes. But he did seem to get them motivated for that second half. The performance in the second half was remarkably better, especially in defence. And it wasn't until the tail end of that second half, when they were obviously just tired from all the extra work they had to do, that Queensland started to skip away a little bit more. But it was good seeing actual specialist players in their actual specialist position for a change, and how much of an absolute difference that made to everything that they did.
And seeing the halfbacks actually see each other in the series, like being within like 40 metres of one another, was really refreshing. Yeah,
that was good. That was actually handy. just a little meet and greet before the game.
Yeah.
Oh, my name's Nico. You can call me Nick if you like. Yeah, my name's Jerome. You can call me your fucking daddy.
Daddy, yeah. I always find it funny when we play games as New South Wales in Sydney, where they walk out of the centre of excellence and then have to walk for half a kilometre before they get into the stadium. That's pretty funny. Yeah. And then all of the this is the dumbest shit in the world, right? We got like 80,000 people at the stadium, and both teams run out. Everyone's like, yeah, and then we stop and we have just a bunch of people talking and shit for like 5 minutes, just having a conversation with themselves, and then we do the anthem, and then we
wasn't that a fucking dog's breakfast?
Whose idea is it to we want to get everyone pumped up? Let's just low-key everything as much as possible. In the fucking 2 minutes before the game, let's just bring everything down to the quietest level we can. So dumb.
Yeah. That anthem rendition was the worst thing I've ever heard.
It was the wrong time and place for it. That's all it was.
Well, they started out trying to make it sound like a pop song you'd hear on the radio. And then when you quickly realised after about 4 or 5 seconds that it was the anthem, it then went for, any time after those first 5 seconds, it went for that much too long.
Yeah.
Like once you go through the second line, you just go, yeah, let's wrap this fucking thing up now. Let's move on because this just is not working.
If you're gonna do the anthem, you just got to bang it out. You just got to Julie Anthony it, bang, done. Everyone's up
and
for
don't
it, you know?
don't hold the last note forever, okay?
No.
We don't want to sit here and hear your vocal masturbation. We just want to hear the fucking song and then we want to watch the fucking football.
Yeah, because it's like 8:15 by the time we get to the anthem.
Exactly.
So I just start every Origin. I've got a thing that I do where as soon as the players have run out on the field, I just start tweeting angrily like, "Start the fucking game!" Because there's another 5 minutes before the game starts. It's ridiculous.
Oh boy, yeah, it was that anthem rendition was horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge. I'm not completely down on the Blues. I did have to write an article for the League Unlimited website, and I did call them brave because when at that point, when Queensland scored 2 tries after Suwali got sent off,
yeah,
there was that little moment there. You go, right, this is the point when New South Wales either goes, fuck it, we've lost this, and they just let Queensland steamroll them, or they go, no, let's fucking buckle down and let's see what we can do here. Let's try and produce a fucking miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, it's teetering there. Which way are they going to go? And they went for the miracle option. I went, thank Christ for that.
Yeah.
And they put up a hell of a bloody fight for quite a chunk of the game, given the deficit they were dealing with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty. I wasn't too down on it given the result. Like if that was a 13-on-13 game, I'd have been a hell of a lot more angry at how New South Wales performed. But yeah, it's hard to get too angry given the circumstances there.
We learnt a lot though. I think that was a very interesting thing, and it's going to be interesting to see if Maguire does what we've seen New South Wales coaches do in the past, where he's like, we're staying loyal, or if he's going to make some changes and who those changes are going to be. We'll find out. But, Queensland, once again, it's as though Queensland they don't fuck it up. They just wait for us to fuck it up. And we fuck it up.
Yep. Time and time again. Now we'll go into some sad news, and that is former English Test player Rob Burrow passed away during the week.
Yeah.
Suffered from motor neuron disease. It was it took a hold of him damn fast.
I'll never forget when it was announced, and then like not long after, he I don't know if he did a video thing about it, and it was the only word I can describe it was as horrifying to see how quickly it had grabbed him.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it this way, man. It was 7 years ago that he played his last game for Leeds. That's fucking insane. He was an active athlete playing, elite level rugby league just 7 years ago. And it crippled him to the point where he couldn't do anything. He was bound to a wheelchair and claimed his life. That's a horrible thing. And absolute credit to him for allowing cameras and whatnot to come into his life so that they could see how debilitating this is and use what profile he had to draw a lot more attention to what this disease does and how quickly it impacts people and families and how devastating it can be. And also goes without saying, like, huge credit to Kevin Sinfield for everything he did, because they raised apparently close to £20 million. Which is phenomenal. Yeah. And that's a legacy that will and absolutely should keep their names known for a long, long time. But yeah, very, very sad to hear that.
Yeah, it really was. And, I mean, what can you say? Poor dude, like, it grabbed him so quick. It's so scary to think that there are things like that out there that can, as you say, he's a professional footy player. And 7 years later, like it comes to this, it's just terrible, just so sad.
It really is. Yeah, we've got the NRL coming up this week. Should we do a preview?
Yeah, let's go through the games.
All right. I do have some statistical data here somewhere that I
excellent.
took.
You should do more stats, eh?
Well, people have suggested.
Like, stop fucking around and just do stats.
Just maybe even have a website.
Yeah.
All right. What have we got here?
Okay.
Is this the one? Dragons versus Tigers? Is that this week?
Unfortunately, it is.
Oh, fuck.
I'm sorry to say, yes, that is a game that has been arranged that we will have to watch.
Dragons have won 4 of their last 5 clashes with the Tigers, and the Tigers have won 5 of their last 31 games when they've been in the bottom 2 places on the ladder.
I tipped the Dargons.
The Dargons.
I don't want to watch this game, hey?
You and me both.
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it, I'm going to tip the Tigers by 30, only because Benji Marshall's been copping a bit of shit, and the last time he copped a bit of shit, he came out and he got his team to smack the Sharks around. So
okay, that's fair enough.
I'm going with that again.
That's fair enough.
Like, it's not going to happen, but I'm going with it. Titans versus Rabbitohs. I don't really watch this game either.
I know,
South have won their last 8 straight games against the Titans, scoring an average of 33 points per game. And ever since the Titans' first ever win against South up there at Robina, which was in 2009, they have lost all 9 games at Robina against South since then.
Holy crap. That's crazy.
Yeah, so South by 50.
I went the Titans just because South's defense sucks, and the Titans do have like 20 minutes of football in them.
That's true.
And I'm kind of banking on that 20 minutes of football to be overwhelming enough that it's just too much for South to sort of get back them points. So I expect a high-scoring one in this one, though.
Oh, yeah. Cowboys-Warriors. The Warriors have won 7 of their last 10 games against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys need to score 25 points to reach 15,000 for their history.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Yeah. I tipped the Warriors. There's a bunch of Cowboys that will be backing up from Origin. Yep. And the thing about backing up from Origin, you'd rather back up quicker than a few days later. And, I just think the Warriors, I think that they'll just get the job done here. The Cowboys, they're soft. Been saying all year they're soft.
Yeah, I'm going Warriors here, but I think it'll be a close one.
Okay.
Broncos versus Sharks. Cronulla have beaten Brisbane just 3 times from their last 13 games, which is since 2015. Mm-hmm. And Cronulla have won 6 of their last 7 games outside of Sydney.
I am going for the Broncos. I think the Broncos might actually smack them in this one, hey? I know they'll have a lot of players backing up, but it's a pretty big game. And Nico Hines is not a big game player, Andrew.
I'm going to go Sharks because I think the Reece Walsh loss could hurt the Broncos a bit.
That's a good point.
I was initially going to go Broncos, but I think the Walsh factor, he's going to play a part in this.
Okay.
Storm versus Knights. The last 5 times that a first-place Storm played the Knights, Melbourne has won every time with an average scoreline of 40-10.
Shit. Holy shit.
Melbourne has won 15 of their last 17 games against the Knights in Victoria.
Oh, man, I think they're going to curb stomp them, hey?
Yeah, I'm going Melbourne by 40 points to 10.
Yeah, that's a pretty good bet. Oh, shit.
Are you going with the Storm?
In a close one. Yeah, I think they're going to fucking smash them.
Panthers versus Manly. Penrith have won 16 of the last 20 games against Manly, which is since 2012. Mm-hmm. And Manly have won just 5 of their last 19 games at Bluebet Stadium, which is dating back to 1995.
Yeah, even when we've been not a great team. We've had some games against the Manly Seagulls where we've put 60 on them and stuff like that in the long distant past now, because we're really good right now, Andrew. I don't know if you've heard, eh?
Look, I've read about
it. We're a system team, though. Just keep that.
It's true.
Look, once again, I think I've said this before. Penrith are going to have some players backing up. I know that they've named, I think they named all of their Origin players in the side, but you never know who's going to pick up little dings and stuff like that. That they just, they're focused completely on the finals right now. And
Ivan Cleary's always been pretty good at making sure that, you know what, if I've got to eat a loss every now and then to keep my team fresh for finals footy, then so be it.
Yeah, and it's interesting as a Panthers fan I know I get used to that sort of thing. I know other Panthers fans who I won't name outside of Nadine, they don't like it.
We must win everything.
But yeah, I think that I'm going to go for the Panthers. They're such a good club, and it's interesting to see some of their youngsters that sort of stepped up last week were pretty impressive, and their entire focus is just to get to the finals and be ready to rock and roll and be one of the top sides. And so far, so good. So yeah, I'm tipping Penrith.
Yeah, I'll go with Penrith in that one. Last one, Bulldogs versus Eels. Don't really want to watch this one either.
I actually am looking forward to this one, hey?
Oh, I think Parramatta's going to be shit. But anyway, Parramatta have won 14 of their last 17 games against the Bulldogs. I don't think that's going to account for anything. I think the Bulldogs will shit on them.
I was going to tip the Bulldogs, hey, because I do like what the Bulldogs are doing. But the Eels are starting to get a little bit of momentum and a bit of belief in themselves. And we have seen what that happens when that happens. But I just think that they've got a little bit of momentum, and some of the Bulldogs' better players were involved in the Origin this week. They haven't got Kikau, I believe. He's still out because I think he picked up an injury. So I think he's not there for another couple of weeks. And so I sort of lean towards the Eels because of that. So I'm really looking forward to this game, actually, because these teams hate each other's guts.
Yeah.
And they both are in a bit of a funny place where, if the Bulldogs win, they're really a top 8 team, right?
Yep.
And if the Eels win, they're starting to really get into that race again. And the Bulldogs will feel like if they lose, it's oh man, we had a chance, and what are we really? And if the Eels lose, they'll be oh, maybe we just suck. So there's just a lot on the line for this game. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, this will also be the 550th game played at Stadium Australia, making it just the 10th venue to reach that milestone. You know what that means? I'm going to ask you, what are the other 9 grounds that have already had 550
went straight
games?
there. Okay, so Sydney Football Stadium? Oh, no.
The old one?
The showground, I mean.
The sports, hang on.
So, let me start again. Let me start again, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to go Sydney Cricket Ground.
Yep, that's at the top with 1,162 games.
Okay, Sydney Showground?
No.
Okay, I thought that would have got it for old-timey.
No.
Okay.
There's 5 grounds on there.
Yeah.
That are still used today.
Really?
2 of them part-time.
2 of them Fuck off. Is Leichhardt Oval on there?
Leichhardt Oval is number 9 with 592 games.
No way. That's a surprise. Well, Sydney Football Stadium?
Yep, the old one. That's on there, 672 games.
Okay. Do you count the new stadium as you don't?
No, that's separate.
Even though they're on the same footprint?
Yes.
Why is that?
Just like we do with Lang Park, the old Lang Park and Suncorp Stadium.
Oh, really? What the fuck?
Mate, that's what we do. Experts over here.
Listen. Yeah, I know you and me. When it comes to stats, we're very, very aligned on things. I don't like this decision. I'm taking this to the board.
You can speak to my boss. But I'll let you know, though, that his decision is final, and I agree 100% with
it. Fuck that guy. I see they're on the same footprint, though.
Yeah.
So you won't. So when Penrith gets their stadium rebuilt, you will look at it as a new stadium?
Is it going to get completely stripped down and a brand new one rebuilt, or is it just going to get, an addition to the current one?
It's basically going to be stripped down and rebuilt, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Wow. Okay.
We'll see. That's the decision that the boss makes. But I dare say that's what will happen.
Okay. Be nice if we would stop fucking breaking the website, hey?
Never broken.
See, that changes things, how I think about things now. What about whatever the fuck St. George is calling their stadium these days?
No, not on the list.
Not on the list, hey?
No.
Lang Park wouldn't be one of them.
No, it's not on
there. Man, this one's a hard one. Oh, what about Belmore?
Belmore, yes, that's 615 games.
Okay.
That was the other part-time one.
Okay, the new Parramatta Stadium doesn't count.
No, and it's not even close.
Yeah. The old one, I don't think would it?
No.
Nah. Shark Park wouldn't be one.
Yes, it is.
No way. Why?
617 games.
How?
Yeah.
I don't get that.
We think for a long time they didn't get to, when the match of the day thing was going on through the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
They weren't playing in many of those.
Okay.
And the Bulldogs played in a lot of those for, some of their successful years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that happens. Plus, I think there's been a few times when a few other teams have used Endeavour Field as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's got to be that. So who else has used it then? Like the Dragons would have at some point.
Yeah, I haven't got the thing open on me, to be honest.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Okay, so is Penrith Footy Stadium one of them?
Yes, it is. It's just above Shark Park, 643 games.
Okay, that surprises me that Penrith Footy Stadium's on because it's just Penrith playing there,
Yes, but they have been playing there, and they've been playing basically all of their home games there since 1967.
Is Campbelltown one of them?
No.
Okay. I don't know who are the rest.
Right, second is the old Sydney Sports Ground with 827 games.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said Sydney Showground.
Oh, I thought you talked about the agricultural showground.
No, I meant the sports ground. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough then. Third is North Sydney Oval with 749 games.
Ah, yes, of course.
Fourth is Brookvale Oval, 731 games.
Yep.
You had the rest.
Okay.
But job well done.
Well, the thing that gets me is I wouldn't have thought that Shark Park or Penrith would have been on the list. That's
there you go.
Yeah. That one really stumped me. That one got me.
It's a good one. You did rather well though. Let's be honest.
I tried. The Sydney Sports Ground, right?
Yep.
In my head, it's the showground because I know at one point it was like kind of Sydney's outside of the cricket ground was like the main venue for a lot of things. So in my head that was the showground, but obviously I'm using the wrong terminology for it.
Yeah, that's okay. You're forgiven. Yeah. A lot of people would probably suggest that the sports ground should be included with the Sydney Football Stadium because that's where the Sydney Football Stadium was built.
Yeah,
but no. See, we make the rules, and that's what the rules are. See,
if it was, here's where I would have it. Right, if it's on the same footprint, I would say, and it's the same configuration, I would say it's the same place. So say they tore down the Sydney Stadium Australia, right, and they rebuilt a rectangular only stadium That would be a new venue for me, right?
I was going to say, so do you think that the CommBank Stadium stat should be included with Pertex Stadium?
Yeah, the old Parramatta Stadium, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would 100%.
Okay, no.
But then how can you do the same thing for Penrith Footy Stadium if they're going to tear down the stands, right?
Pretty easy, just like we did with the Parramatta one.
Yeah, fucking prick. Okay, but then what if the two hills are still there?
The two hills are still there, then it's not a torn down, completely new stadium, is it?
Well, that's what they're doing.
It's not a completely new stadium. What they did at Parramatta was a completely new stadium.
Well, what they did at Lang Park is some of the old stadium is actually still part of Lang Park. Do you know that?
There wouldn't be much of it left.
Actually, I think you'll find there's a considerable amount of it left.
Maybe the grass underneath is.
No, I'm talking because this shocked me. There was quite a bit of the old stadium that they kept and they built around it, and it's built into the bowl of the stadium.
Well, that's a matter you'll have to take up.
I just changed your website.
That's a matter you have to take up with the boss.
Tell your people to get in touch with my people.
I'm his people.
The thing about Lang Park is it surprised me to find that out, because you know how I like all of the off-field business side stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it when there's a new stadium around the corner or something. And I was shocked to find out, and it's actually a chunk of it is the current Lang Park. And they sort of built it into it, which is kind of weird. So yeah, but it makes me question, so say Penrith Footy Stadium, they tear down the two grandstands, but the hills are still there. It's still Footy Stadium, right? It's still the same thing, right?
I believe it would be, yeah.
It's
if you completely redesign the whole stadium structure.
Mm.
And for me, that's a different venue.
What if then you keep one hill, but then you get rid of the stands and you build one stand at the end, but you keep one hill?
Well, that's still the same, because that's basically what the Sharks have done.
Okay, but then what if you wait?
Planning to do.
What if you wait 1 year and then you get rid of the other hill and you build that?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably still the same thing. Probably still just a continued redevelopment of the same venue.
There's a box I'm forcing you into here, right?
I can see that, yes. I just let you know that these are my views. What happens with Rugby League Project is a different thing.
I am frustrated by this. I don't like it.
What you gonna do?
That's the thing that I hate about it. I can't do shit about it. We need to get Sean on here, right? And I need to be able to. You've got to give me 5 minutes to put him in a box. I'm just going to walk him back. I'm going to say, okay, wait a minute. We get some shade cloth, right? We put some shade cloth in, and then we do some landscaping. And I'm just going to get him to a point.
How many Bunnings chairs do we need to put on the hill before you declare it a new stadium?
Exactly. You know,
671. Are we there?
What is the tipping point? What is the fucking tipping point? This is funny. This is funny and devastating at the same time. Oh shit!
That is true. Oh well. What else have we had going in the world of rugby league this week? Or has it just been completely dominated by Origin as per usual?
It's pretty much been Origin from what I've seen. The only other thing that I saw was and I don't put anything into it, but James Hooper was saying that there's some rumours going around that the rugby union might be willing to let Suwali out of his contract because it is a fucking lot of money that they're going to have to pay him. And that he said that the Dragons would be interested in getting him, but I don't know how much really you can put into that. I mean, it's, it's fucking James Hooper saying it.
Yeah, he's notoriously full of shit.
Yeah. I tell you, the other thing is Taylor May, the Panthers are looking to completely sack him, or this stuff goes to court, which I thought was pretty interesting. I don't know why that decision is even being talked about, but apparently they're going to talk about it at a board meeting for the Panthers, and if that happens, it'll be a little bit shocking. So we'll see what happens there. It's hard to really talk about before all the court cases and everything's happened, but if the Panthers have got to a point where they're like, we're just not interested in any of this, I don't think too many Panthers fans would be upset about it.
I think it would be a smart decision by Penrith to do that, because they could probably find someone very quickly to replace him who would also be cheaper at the current stage. So given that he's just had this big contract upgrade.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the crazy thing is that big contract doesn't kick in until next year for him. So, and like.
True, but I mean, this might be a way of sort of getting out of it. If he's found guilty of some sort of thing like that, then the NRL will probably cancel the contract before it gets pushed through and approved. So they get out of that contract, frees up some cash. Yeah. Plus they just work on bringing through the next brilliant young talent to replace him with. Mm-hmm. And they've got some money available I've already got a ton of money available given they've lost Luai. They've got a ton of money available to go and chase whoever the hell they want. Ezra Mann probably.
I think Ezra Mann was re-signed for the Broncos for a few years.
Penrith would buy him out.
Man, I would love to have. He'd be so good in the Panthers team.
You go up to Ezra and say, Ezra, here's what we're going to do, okay? We'll give you whatever you want per year, plus you can be the mayor of Ropes Creek.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scrap metal in that creek.
Tell you what, we'll take that scrap metal and we'll build you a train station out there.
I wonder if, I don't know that Ropes Cross, because you've got Ropes Creek, and then they had an ammunition factory there and they filled it in, I guess, and they called it Ropes Crossing and built new houses on there, which that's all I'll say about that. But I don't think they've got a train station for that place. They used to have a train line that ran into it, but that was for the ammo factory. So I grew up, right, and in Tregear, and the ammunition factory was like next to Tregear suburb, and it was just normal to hear explosions from it. Hey, it just, you didn't even think twice. You'd hear like boom, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the ammo factory.
You say, yep, that one worked. Oh, we can't use it now.
It's kind of weird when I think about it. I'm just glad that there was no fallout effect or anything like that had any effect on me as a person.
No. How many guns do you own now?
I don't own guns. I can't do that, hey, because I'd become a gun nut so quickly. I would become, like, every so often, because remember, fucking Andrew knows about this. Remember there was a moment where I was just so into knives.
Oh,
yeah. And I knew, I was like, I can't do much with this, but I can get a couple of ones that I like. And one of them was the one that Dutch uses in Predator. I like the big one. I've got one of those and a couple of Bowie knives, and that's it, really. Oh, and I've got my K-bar, which is the most perfect thing ever made in history. Just non-answer fat on that. But
so you're basically a real world Kano from Mortal Kombat.
Why does he like knives? Does he?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So yeah. So, and I knew I had to stop, and I only have like 4 of them, but I love them, right? But when I would search for these things on YouTube, every so often it'd toss up like a gun review, and I knew I couldn't even watch it because I was like, I just can't, because I'll like love it, and not even to shoot it, just the mechanisms and fucking collecting. You know, I'm a collector. I can't do it.
So you found it was just better and safer to just collect websites.
Pretty much. Watches is another one. Every so often it wants me to look at watch reviews, and I'm like, look at that watch. I can't wear watches. I've got a fucking iWatch, right? But I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh yeah, I want to spend $4,000 on a watch. And then, so I can't watch them.
Yes.
Then I'll even be like, oh yeah, the Casio watch with its perfect design. Oh, it's like, no, stop watching it. Go away.
Yes. I had the theory. Maybe it was something I theorized to justify myself to. I thought a lot of men tended to like watches.
Yeah.
Because as we know, I have a few.
How many? Oh yeah, you do, don't you?
I've got about 6.
Wow. What's your most expensive one?
$300 and something.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in my 20s, I knew I wanted an expensive watch, and I don't even know where it is right now, but I spent about $350 on a silver watch. It was a nice one, you know. Because as you would know, that's kind of the price range, and then they jump right up to the next level.
Yeah, you get the tasteful, really good looking ones that are just under $400.
Yep.
And then the next one after that is, sell your house.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the time, or do you want to live in a house and go, the time is important?
As you say, tasteful, right? Just like smart. I could wear this watch anywhere with anything. I'd wear it with a suit or whatever.
Yep.
And then the next one up is like, it looks really nice, but I'm scared to leave the house wearing it because if I get robbed from it, I'll have to cry.
Yes, in public.
Yeah, and like bawl. Like, take my watch.
I want my mommy. Yeah.
You're right. Just hold me. I don't know if I can handle this. That sort of thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good.
No,
it wouldn't be good.
Because we're men, Andrew. We don't cry.
No. Unless we step on a piece of Lego or our little toe collects the edge of the fucking table when you walk into the toilet at 4 a.m.
Oh, 100%.
You go, fuck. 100%. And then the tears.
My toe.
When you kick your toe, as a male, you tend to go through most of the negative emotions in a very, very quick sequence.
Very quick.
Yeah, anger, frustration, pain, suffering, sadness, and then you go remorse.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have just turned the light on. You go, yeah, you fucking idiot, and then all of a sudden you're angry again. Now I've got to try and get to bed.
Yeah, like any good male, though, you do it like you might swear once, but then you grab that big ball of anger and rage and sadness, and you just push it right into your fucking aorta,
straight into the soul.
Yeah, and you just wait until your arm goes all tingly and
just save it for a heart attack.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I hate it when you kick your toe, and it's normally your pinky toe, and you do it, and you just hear it pop, and you're like, I just fucking broke it. Yep. It's like, and it makes the weirdest little popping sound when you do it. And it's like, fuck, I just broke my toe. Damn it.
Oh, yeah, that ain't great.
No.
I think the other one that sucks for me is with the line of work I do. Lots of heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of walking. But you know what the most common injury is for what I do?
What?
Fucking broken fingernails.
Really?
Yeah, because of all the lifting and stuff. If you grab a hold of something that's wet you don't quite get a good grip on it, and it's weighty.
Yeah.
Fucking falls down. The last thing it goes past is your fingers as they start to.
That sucks.
Trying to grab it at the same time, and the last thing it goes past is your fucking fingernails, and you go, ah!
Yeah.
You walk around with this big split down the middle of your fingernail, and you go, all right, I'm going to have to try and cut that off so it doesn't grab anything else, and hope that it sort of grows back in a normal sort of thing, and it never does.
I've got a weird thing about fingernails. You know, like women will casually like just tear their fingernail off, you know, and like women are weird like that. They'll be like, "Oh, I just tore my fingernail off," and you're thinking, "Oh, it can't be that bad," and then they like lift their entire fingernail off of it. And it, for some reason, in my lizard brain, is like it does something to my lizard brain where it's like, ugh, like horribleness.
Yeah.
I don't understand it because like I'm not squeamish at anything really, but it's like that. And if somebody just has a random nosebleed, that also triggers something in my lizard brain where I'm just like, I want to run away from them.
Nosebleed. I haven't had the one with a nosebleed.
Yeah. Like if someone smashes their nose playing footy and they've got blood pissing everywhere, I don't care. Right. But if somebody's just standing there and they just one of those people that get random nosebleed, it does something in my brain where I'm like, get away from me. Could be contagious or something. Like it's really at the base of my skull that comes from.
Wow. What were we talking about again?
We used to have a footy podcast.
That's right. I thought we should rename this thing. It used to be a footy podcast. Seem to go there a lot.
You were talking about how you're going to change the entire way that you count football games at different grounds based on where they actually are, not based on the upgrades they get. That's how I remember it anyway.
Something like that. I can't remember now. I don't remember talking about that. Let's move on. Right. Well, what else? That's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. I think we've covered pretty much everything. New South Wales sucks, and it sucks, but what can you do?
Well, I think all we learned from this Origin match is you can't trust rugby union players to do a good job when they're playing rugby league.
100%.
So on that note, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you check us out on all the socials. Give us a like and a subscribe over on YouTube. That'd be sweet. Comments would be good. So we can comment about those later on in another episode and make you famous-ish, kinda. And we'll catch us all next time.